How fondly I remember, John, that autumn in Petrograd. That marvelous adventure we lived and shared moment by moment, witnessing the events that changed the course of history. Events that were inscribed in your memory, and that later lived in the pages of your book.
I'm gonna write something much different than the book on Mexico. I'll keep the color to a minimum. Just hard facts, less adventure and romanticism. A report, a detailed chronicle as seen by a witness. Good idea?
Knowing you, it'll read like a novel. I wrote a poem for your birthday, but I was ashamed to give it to you. Here.
At times, just thinking about you, my throat tightens. And I feel dismay. You're the best person I know on the two faces of this earth. And I was chosen to be your companion.
I don't want to touch your emotions. I just want your critical judgment. Is that just rot or a poem?
I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you.
Stop it!
I love you.
Put me down!
I love you. I love you.
But then somehow we ran afoul of each other and lost contact for quite some time. When I finally decided to see you again to try and start anew, I found you in that hospital bed in Moscow.
How's my book selling?
Magnificently. Leave you alone 1 minute and you get sick.
It's easy. As easy as drinking a glass of water. Literally. You drink a glass of water in Baku on the Caspian Sea, and you get typhus.
Oh.
Do you plan on leaving soon?
Oh, no. I'm going to stay here and watch you get better. And then we're going to go back to America together. And then I'm never going to leave you again.
I owe you a critical judgment. Honestly, kid, it's not much of a poem. But let me tell you, it helped me a lot in these last months.
You silly kid.
You're the kid. Let's not switch roles.
I've decided, perhaps for the first time, I'll adhere to the duties of a good wife and follow wherever you lead me, etc., etc. Hogwash. I chose the adventure. Something new is happening in Petrograd. You ought to be there, and so should I. I've had enough of radicals who talk and do nothing.
Certainly enough of those around.
And then there's my career. I wouldn't be anybody without you. Nobody'd consider me as a writer. In a sense, you're the only hope I have for a lucky break. That's the honest truth.
If I didn't love you, I'd be stung to the quick. But I'll see what I can do for you, kid.
Will you teach me how to write? To write like you?
Okay, kid. Get to work. Above all, inform yourself. Read. You have to read and imprint on your mind all the facts you want to write about. Before going to a country, you should already know what you're probably going to find there. All right, kid. Give it a go.
What have we got here?
The Russian people have overthrown the corrupt Tsarist regime. On March 16, 1917, the most ancient monarchy in the world collapsed. A provisional government promising democratic reforms was set up in Petrograd. The United States of America, France, Great Britain, and Italy immediately recognized it. The Western powers trembled. Would Russia, nearly prostrate from staggering losses, abandon the war effort? Milyukov, the new foreign minister, declared,
"To all foreign diplomatic representatives, on my honor, the newly constituted government solemnly pledges to respect all of its commitments and pursue the present struggle until victory against the Germanic alliance. Until the conquest of Constantinople, Armenia, northern Persia, and the final dismemberment of the Austro-Hungarian and Turkish empires. The new Russian government firmly resolves to achieve its aims with the utmost determination and is sustained in its will by the unanimous and unshakable support of the Russian people."
In truth, there were two major factions in Russia at that time, each representing diametrically opposed interests. On the one hand, the provisional government, an expression of the propertied classes which sought to transform the old Tsarist state into a Western-styled republic. And on the other hand, the Soviets, spontaneously elected councils of workers, peasants, and soldiers who demanded immediate peace, liberty, and land reform. In the prevailing chaos of parties, movements, and splinter groups, there was one party which stood out. It was disciplined and centralized. These were the Bolsheviks, led by Vladimir Ilyich Ulyanov, known to his comrades as Lenin. Lenin succeeded in returning to Russia from exile after a long and perilous train journey through a Europe swept by the flames of war.
Comrade soldiers, sailors, and workers, I salute you as the great heroic force that has swept away the Tsars and ushered in a new era of revolutionary upheaval. You are the vanguard, the forefront of the international proletarian army.
How did Lenin manage to sway the masses to his side so quickly after his arrival?
Quite easily. He simply told the people what they were dying to hear: peace, food, and liberty for all. While instead, the other socialist parties, and above all the provisional government, insisted on carrying on the war against Germany.
Let us then continue the struggle with new vigor until complete victory. Comrades, stand united. Long live the socialist revolution!
That very night, he made two more fiery speeches advocating what was later to be called the April Thesis: that there can be no unity between the Bolsheviks and other political parties which uphold the war and the provisional government. No solutions to the problems of war, misery, and exploitation can be expected from a bourgeois republic. Only a Soviet republic representing the workers and peasants can have the will to truly tackle those problems. It is necessary, therefore, to pass on to the next stage of the revolution. In order to build socialism, the oppressed classes must seize power. The next day, Lenin lost no time in addressing the Soviets gathered at the Taurida Palace, though well aware that his intervention would enrage his political adversaries.
We can't abandon the war! Anarchists like Bakunin! We can't surrender! The men are the strength of the Russian people! The provisional government in office adheres to the same imperialistic policies of the Tsarist regime. You waste pretty words promising a reconciliation here at home while our young men die in the trenches. The time has come to withdraw, to end this senseless bloodbath. Russia's youth cannot be sent as cannon fodder for the imperialist powers' sordid contest for markets. The capitalists are at each other's throats for their own selfish interests that the masses sent to die in battle are opposed to. The policies of this government are a list of lies. You promise the sky to keep the people happy, but when the time comes to see results, you have little, nothing, or next to nothing to offer. What you so generously dole out in theory, you take away in practice.
What do you know of conditions in Russia after so many years of exile in Switzerland?
You're the ones who have no idea of what the Russian people want or need. You have no class consciousness. To crush the revolution, you deceive the masses, and you distract them with false hope. Just look at how your Kerensky hypnotizes the people with his nonsense. All his oratory is demagoguery, lies and half-truths to keep the people satisfied while his ministers scheme and plot to hang on to their tottering thrones.
The minutes of that first Soviet assembly provide a clear idea of Lenin's fundamental views. Views that shocked and disconcerted almost everyone, even his fellow Bolsheviks at first. Russia cannot build socialism gradually through a bourgeois parliamentary regime as the provisional government promises. To end the catastrophic war and provide genuine socialist solutions to the problems of land reform, reconstruction, and equality, all power must be placed, by force if necessary, into the hands of the Soviets. The people must take control of their destinies.
The Russian army is the best! Under the harsh rule of the Tsars, the Russian army performed miracles of heroism. Has it suddenly become faint-hearted and cowardly under the new republic? I'm calling upon you to defend both the fatherland and your new liberty. This war is no pleasant frolic through the countryside. The hardships are terrible and many. But today we stand at a new threshold, a promised land of freedom. And as free men, we must all be willing to make the supreme sacrifice.
As one may well imagine, a storm of popular unrest broke out in Petrograd those first days of July. It all began with insubordination among the troops. Then, for the first time, The soldiers were joined by the workers who charged out of the factories demanding an end to the war and the transfer of all power to the Soviets.
What would Britain do to quell this sort of uprising?
With your permission, I'll give you my personal point of view. By the way, it's the same as our prime ministers. I feel that if you don't introduce the death penalty, you won't be able to cope with such mobs. The Petrograd garrison must be disarmed, and the local regiments must be transformed into workers' battalions. Workforces are an excellent idea. You can send them all to build the Murmansk highway.
I'll refer this suggestion to my ministers.
Only you and your ministers had better not tarry, or this rebel mob might arrest you. The re-establishment of law and order in Russia is not an exquisitely domestic affair regarding your government. It is also of the greatest concern to the Allied powers.
As soon as the troops arrive from the front, this anarchy will be crushed with a firm hand.
Chateau Blanche, Your Excellency.
Pour.
Timing was wrong. What made Lenin decide to start the revolt so soon?
Lenin had no say in the affair, Louise. The July uprising was spontaneous. The long-suffering masses had reached the limit of their endurance.
Line up the progress!
The workers took their own initiative in complete disregard to the will of the Bolshevik leaders. Naturally, their rebellion was drowned in blood.
I order the arrest of Vladimir Ilyich Ulyanov, commonly known as Lenin, for high treason in wartime, collaborating with the enemy, and espionage.
What will happen now, Vladimir Ilyich?
Most likely our party will be outlawed. Our enemies will try to crush us out of existence. And by any means. I'm sure this will gladden the hearts of the bourgeoisie. But in the long run, it'll aid the cause of the revolution. Many hard days are ahead of us, my friends. Useful days for the revolution. Goodbye, comrades.
Good luck to you. Keep in touch with us.
Enjoy!
Greetings, Yakov Mihailovich.
Greetings. Hello, comrades.
You have news for us?
They just confiscated Pravda.
Oh.
The soldiers burst in about half an hour after you had left. And I doubt they'll want to stop there. Vladimir Ilyich, take my advice and go into hiding at once. You don't have much choice. They're searching the whole city. Leave while you still have a chance. At Sestrerex, there's a good hideaway.
I have these photographs of Lenin made up for your detectives.
Border Patrol speaking.
Follow me, on the go.
I want 10 men guarding the door. Yes, sir. The rest of you spread out around the building. Quick! Move it! Move!
You come too.
I'll bow down to the will of the majority.
Your newspaper, Vladimir Ilyich.
Ah, very good. Thanks, comrade.
The newspapers of that day carried the news of the Petrograd Military Command's order to capture the traitor Lenin, dead or alive. Yet despite the massive manhunt, nobody had even a clue to his whereabouts.
Revolutionary Committee. Why has the General Staff ordered the transfer of troops from the front to Petrograd? What can General Kornilov be scheming?
What are you reading there, fathead? You're too stupid to understand what's going on. General Kornilov is a national hero.
Seems to me you're the fathead. Kornilov is a power-mad reactionary. Go on reading, comrades. Ignore him.
The country is on its knees. The military situation is hopeless.
This won't end here. Mark my word.
But he's an officer. How can a soldier talk like that to...
Unfortunately, madam, that's what we've come to. No respect for an officer's authority. There is no discipline in our army. As a matter of fact, there is no Russian army. Just a bunch of rebels. They don't want to fight. They have no respect for anybody's authority, or for anybody, mind you. And the peasants, they're grabbing the land of the landowners and attacking them in their own homes.
Who is this General Kornilov?
Kornilov? He's the bravest man in all of Russia. A real soldier. There's no doubt he'll have full power in Russia soon. In a matter of hours.
Hours?
Kornilov's troops have been charging into Petrograd for 2 days straight. And if we're lucky, the takeover is probably being carried through right now.
But there's not a sign. There's no news.
Signs, news. Russia's an enormous country. And news travels slowly.
Express train to Petrograd leaving in 5 minutes. All aboard.
That's our train. Let's go.
Express train to Petrograd leaving in 5 minutes. All aboard.
Coast is clear. No great loss. There's another one there.
sleep. I'm too excited about what's going on. Do you think it's true what he told us?
Well, there must be some truth in what he says. This manifesto here is proof.
You really believe this Bolshevik notice?
Enough.
Not enough to be scared.
Utterly terrified.
All right, then, but what'll happen to us if that right-wing general is successful?
Nothing. We're journalists and foreigners.
Yeah, but you're accredited to a socialist publication.
Viborg.
Why are we stopping here? What's going on?
Don't go on to Petrograd. Whatever you do, it may be very dangerous.
We'll hang you, dirty reactionaries! You'll all pay!
Nothing changes on this old planet. Even during the French Revolution, the Jacobins railed at the foreigners riding by in carriages.
What are we going to find in Petrograd? I'm getting scared. Oddly enough, Petrograd was perfectly calm. At every corner, banners and streamers announced that the counter-revolutionary plot had been foiled, and that General Kornilov had been locked up in the fortress.
I had already been to Petrograd in 1915. How this great city has changed. Where there was once discontent, I find gaiety. And where there was once gaiety, I see discontent. There's so much to write about that I don't know where to start. But there's definitely a story worth telling here.
Was really so unsuccessful. Why are there so many troops around? It looked like trouble to me.
Well, whatever happens, I doubt they'll attack the foreign press.
Look over there. Even the Navy.
Nobody has any idea how long it'll take the government to restore a semblance of order here in Petrograd. The situation's critical. What's that? I told you, didn't I? Okay, I'll double check my source.
Are you almost through with that report, Elaine? Well, try to hurry.
Hi, Father Williams.
There's only one man in the world who can kid me about being an ex-priest without getting his face demolished. Hello? We might as well pack our bags, Bessie. Who's going to want to read our reports after John Reed begins to send in his?
Have no fear, Albert. I'm here for a publication that prints more or less 3,000 copies.
You old fox. When'd you arrive?
This morning.
Hello.
Hello.
Bessie Beatty of the San Francisco Bulletin.
Nice to meet you.
How do you do? Hello.
These other hacks here, well, are not worth knowing. Who's the attractive young lady? Another millionaires?
Sorry to disappoint you, but you can't count on me for any eventual loans. I'm penniless.
Yeah, and she has every reason to be. She's my wife.
casualties and deserters. In the last 3 months, we've lost 60% of our men. I think we'd have more supplies than we need. Instead, we're so hopelessly low on provisions that we're dying of famine and haven't fired a shot. If they don't send a special convoy to relieve us, I can ride off this battalion.
What are the soldiers doing there?
Oh, those idiots are holding their usual conference. Some sort of political conference. The fools believe they can stop the war.
Every man in this trench has become a Bolshevik, a follower of Lenin. We all had great hopes in the provisional government. Then Kerensky promised us a new life and to take some privileges away from the bourgeoisie. Instead, while the rich get richer, we die here like cattle. So we voted to see what was better for us, to fight the Germans or the enemy at home. The men voted unanimously to pull together and fight the real enemy at home. That's all.
Did you bring anything to read? Newspapers, anything? I'd like to know what's going on in Petrograd.
No, but rest assured, we'll write about what we've seen. It's the people in Petrograd who should know what's going on here. I'll tell them how you're suffering and how badly you want peace.
John took down pages of notes describing what he had seen on the front, in the villages, and in the cities. More material than he needed for his articles. Evidently, the idea of writing a book was already in the back of his mind.
You're like parrots rattling off that nonsense. You say the words, but you don't know what they mean.
The proletariat and the bourgeoisie.
That's hot air, a lot of wasted breath.
Well, it makes pretty good sense to me.
Look, I'm a Marxist, so just believe me when I tell you that the Bolsheviks aren't socialists. All they want is anarchy. They don't even care if Germany wins the war.
Sure. You see, you've had an education, and I'm just an ignorant worker. So I can't really talk as well as you
Do you really believe that your Lenin cares about the working classes?
Yes, I do.
Aren't you smart? Well, maybe you ought to know who sent Lenin back into Russia. Comrades, listen. The Germans! The Germans!
I didn't know that. All I know is that Lenin makes a lot of sense to me. And to practically everybody I've talked with. Because you see, there are two classes. The proletariat and there's the bourgeoisie, huh?
Idiot! I lost 2 whole years in jail fighting for democracy. My name is Vasily Panin. You've undoubtedly heard of me.
No, sorry, I haven't. We didn't get any news of you on the front that you were a hero and so
That's right, you bet I am. And I'm opposed to the Bolshevik campaign because they want to tear apart Russia. They want power through revolution. What do you think about that, huh?
I don't know what to think, honestly. I told you already. I haven't had an education.
I know.
But all I know boils down to this. There are still two classes. The proletariat and the bourgeoisie.
Oh, no, I can't take you. You're driving me mad.
There are only two classes in Russia. And they don't get along together. The rich and the workers.
He's right. What are we dying for?
Kerensky.
Fighting the war without a cause, comrades. Dying on the front for no reason. We have nothing to gain and everything to lose. The day the land will belong to the peasants, the factories to the workers, and all power to the people, then we'll have something worth defending. And if defend it we must, we'll fight to the last man. You American journalists out there, tell the people in your country that the Russians are willing to pay any price and bear any sacrifice, but only for the revolution. We shall resist and carry on the fight until the spark we light here inflames the whole world.
Sailors of the Baltic, the Bolshevik Party has sent me here to address your Soviet. We know that most of you sailors consider yourself comrades or at least sympathize with the cause of the revolution. But now the time has come to put our beliefs into practice.
Revolution is a plague. A curse on any nation.
Like a plague, it can be very contagious.
Sooner or later, other governments will understand that Bolshevism is a threat to their security as well. But by then it may be too late for them.
Before it spreads to the other countries of Europe.
Are you saying that you're not excluding the recourse to foreign help against the Bolsheviks?
Monsieur Lyazanov, in fact, is not opposed to the hypothesis of foreign help.
We have no alternative, sir. If nobody helps us move against the Bolsheviki, Russia will collapse. The Western powers must come to our rescue and cure us, as if we were a sick child.
Don't you think he's being a bit too simplistic? Russia's problems are much more complicated than that.
Evidently, you find my conclusions rather surprising.
On the contrary, I wouldn't expect anything different from the Russian Rockefeller.
Oh, the Russian Rockefeller. I should be so lucky. You flatter me. I don't even come close to that great compatriot of yours.
Monsieur Lyazanov is being modest.
How do you reconcile your patriotism with a call for foreign intervention to solve your internal problems?
You could have spared Monsieur Lyazanov such an embarrassing question.
With a little luck, there's a chance we might not have to trouble our partners. The situation is hopeless. Germany's winning the war. The prospect of hunger, misery, and military defeat might knock some sense into those fools who listen to the Bolsheviks. Winter will be coming soon. And winter has always been Russia's greatest ally.
We can no longer wait. Every moment is precious. The reactionaries are counting on the cold winter months to crush the revolution. They want to starve us into submission. They want to keep us cold, hungry, and poor. But we'll rise up against their tyranny. We'll rise up and sweep them off the face of the earth.
The time is ripe for the proletariat to seize power from the bourgeois regime. The masses can't wait idly while we hedge and quibble. The vast majority of the workers, peasants, and soldiers stand behind us.
Annotation for the book. First session of the Central Committee. Lenin comes out of hiding for the first time in order to attend. The meeting is held in the home of Madame Suchanova, a Bolshevik Party sympathizer. She sees to it that her husband, a well-known exponent of the government coalition, is sent away on a pretext.
Comrade Zinoviev and I disagree with Lenin.
Yes, I don't think he's calculated all the risks. If the insurrection fails, we condemn not only the party, but the Russian and international workers' movement as well. Conditions have never been so favorable, I grant you, but a revolution might not even be necessary. In my opinion, it's much wiser to wait until the government and Kerensky collapse on their own.
We don't strike now, we'll never have another chance.
Take a look at this report by the Revolutionary Committee.
What Kamenev and Zinoviev suggest would only allow the reactionaries to reorganize. Every hour wasted jeopardizes the revolution.
Stalin's right. The longer we wait, the more we
Let's
have to
take
lose.
action. The committee has stated its views. The floor to Yakov Mikhailovich.
Thank
you. Now that we've come to the...
With only Kamenev and Zinoviev dissenting, the Central Committee approved the resolution to begin armed insurrection. This fateful decision would not only affect Russia, but send shockwaves around the world.
Why are all the workers on hand today?
Because we're all waiting for the big day.
What do you mean?
All of us here in the factory are in the Red Guard. Volunteer freedom fighters in the Bolshevik army. But don't tell the factory owner that, whatever you do.
Can you tell me if you and your comrades are keeping weapons in the factory?
Every last one of us. And we've been undergoing training, too. Well, we're armed, all right. And our weapons are loaded and within reach. Don't worry. When the order comes through, we'll know what to do.
Bye and good luck.
They're just like your Mexican peons. They're wearing their bandoliers over their civilian clothes.
Yes, but in Mexico there was a civil war going on. While here they're training peacefully in the barracks. watched by officers. These Bolsheviki are certainly a strange breed.
Well, they may be out of their minds, but I've made my choice. I'm with them.
You mean you're a Bolshevik?
That's right.
Really? A Bolshevik?
Yeah. They're fighting for the same social justice that you and I are. They're organized, they're active, they're honest. In the long run, they're bound to win.
Annotation for the book. There has been talk of a second and larger session of the Central Committee, presided by Lenin, in which the operational base for the uprising was established in close collaboration with the Military Revolutionary Committee of Petrograd.
Must be accounted for. First, we must assign our individual duties and responsibilities, after which we can mobilize all the militants in the mines, factories, barracks, and farms, and wherever our men in arms are waiting for the call. The final signal to rise up in one united front against the bourgeois state and carry out the revolution.
Hey, did you read this? It looks like Kamenev and Zinoviev have spoken out against their party.
Armed insurrection. Why, it's insanity.
With all the army, peasants, and
Insanity.
worker Soviets backing them, they have
Mad.
a fighting chance.
No, without the military behind them, they're lost.
Hey, Albert, take a look at this.
this.
Kamenev and Zinoviev have revealed the Bolsheviks' plan for an armed uprising. What do you think about that?
Quite amazing. Word is out that Kamenev and Zinoviev, two important members of the party's Central Committee, have revealed the Bolsheviks' project for armed insurrection, a very serious matter indeed. But what's even more alarming is the reaction of that scoundrel Lenin, who's still at large despite a death warrant out on him for high treason in time of war. I'll read you his article. Though Kamenev and Zinoviev have betrayed the cause by revealing our decisions, the party will not relinquish its plans for an uprising and will never do so. The government must therefore take note that a considerable part of the population of Petrograd has deliberately, openly, and irrevocably placed itself in a state of rebellion. Consequently, the government must take drastic measures. To meet the challenge, we must summon all available military cadets to Petrograd, as well as the cavalry and artillery regiments detached in the northwest. Withdraw loyal troops from the front and rush them to the capital.
The Bolsheviks should be arrested starting from the Central Committee, and without further delay.
They could start by arresting Lenin.
And all the members of the Revolutionary Military Committee.
That Bolshevik
The death sentence.
The buildings become
the
a
death
viper's
sentence.
nest.
The death sentence. That's the answer. Otherwise,
And we should sequester that
we
Gazette,
have
New
the
Russia.
chance, honestly.
And that other one, the soldier. And arrest the writers
Not
and the printers.
just arrest,
All of them.
but execute. Give them the death sentence, the firing squad, every last one.
Who organized these roadblocks, the government or the Revolutionary Committee?
The sailors. They're all with the Bolsheviks.
All. Let's see your papers.
Excuse me, I have to go now.
Notice that?
Halt! Papers, please. Oh, hello, sir. Pass through. The state is in grave danger, gentlemen. And that is why I ask for your wholehearted support. We must all make a stand, a firm stand, behind the legitimate government in its decisive battle against the traitors, conspirators, and renegades who would sully the honor of our proud nation!
It means civil war. Hi.
What's going on?
Kerensky's beating his big drum. He's on the warpath. Watch him.
You can't say he isn't straightforward.
By speculating on the political ignorance and the baser instincts of part of the population, These Bolshevik criminals want to unleash a wave of death and destruction. Pilfering, looting, and wanton massacres will shame our Russia before the eyes of the entire world! Therefore, I cannot but share the opinion of the extreme right. And I propose that we take the necessary repressive measures, no matter how severe, against all forces militating against the state. I hold in my hand the text of a proclamation produced by the Bolsheviks of the Military Revolutionary Committee and addressed to all our troops now engaged in the war. Just listen to what they have to say. The Petrograd Soviet is in grave danger. We order all military units detailed along the battlefront to disband, demobilize at once, and to await our further instructions.
A very good move, bringing that manifesto in here like that.
A finer example of criminal activity against the state would be very hard to come by indeed. These traitors want to undermine our military strength, to pave the way for the enemy, to let the troops of Germany and Austria into the heartland of Russia. The government officially proclaims that all elements, or groups, or parties that in any manner peril our security or that dare speak out unlawfully against the state shall be tried by special tribunals and eliminated relentlessly and for all time!
In those first days of November 1917, as lashing wet winds swept in from the Gulf of Finland, we all knew that something was about to happen, but no one knew precisely when. The place that everyone looked to was the Smolny, an ex-boarding school for daughters of the nobility that had been requisitioned by the revolutionary organizations of the workers and soldiers.
Your duty is to defend the Bolshevik news agencies. Make sure of two things, that the printing offices stay open and that the papers come out regularly.
That's my only duty, nothing else?
Every job is important now. You realize this is the beginning, don't you?
Yes.
We're going around. Comrade Trotsky has just managed to win over the Peter Paul fortress, garrison troops and all. Now the Winter Palace and the whole city is within aim of its artillery. Defend it with your life. Keep everyone out, except, of course, those of us from the military command who've been authorized.
Yes, sir.
Take this down. The Military Revolutionary Committee empowers all its men under arms to shoot back at anyone who actively opposes resistance.
have a message, Fellowship. It's most urgent. Have the radio aboard the battleship Aurora transmitted immediately.
Yes, sir.
Hurry.
Come with me.
Is there anyone in this room from the home fleet?
Me.
Oh, it's you again. Deliver these orders. They take top priority for your committee. Make sure they're carried out.
Yes, sir.
Where's the committee chief of Riga? You're in.
What is it, Pilwayski?
You already know what you have to do, right? More instructions are in this envelope. We're counting on you.
Very well, sir.
Good luck. Terarudnyats.
Yes, sir.
I believe you've been briefed as well.
Yes, sir.
And here's your authorization. Take action at once.
I will, sir.
Hurry.
We're attacking any day now, so you'd better listen to me well. I want you and your corps of propagandists to infiltrate to the front and tell the soldiers who are being withdrawn from battle how Kerensky wants to use them. I'm sure they'll understand.
Vasilev,
What is it, Nevsky?
how many armored cars do you have in working order that haven't been assigned yet?
Oh, about 18. Next.
Trucks and automobiles?
Around 2,000, I'd say.
What's the general mood among the people?
Most of them with us all the way.
Speak to the colonel.
Terarudnyats.
That's right, the colonel.
All right.
What colonel? You're confusing Terarudnyats with the commissar of the fortress arsenal. That's the man I want.
Right.
When you go to him, you can tell him I've given you my permission. How come the rifles weren't delivered?
The factory that was supposed to deliver them ran out of supplies.
All right, now you have your permission. Now get going. Podvosky here. I've been waiting for you.
First regiment outside for muster, immediately. Commissar Sergeyev is urgently requested to contact the Military Revolutionary Committee.
God, is it noisy up here. Absolutely incredible. Oh, there you are.
Follow me. This way. Come on.
If the Bolsheviks gain the majority, as I'm sure they will, we'll force the government to resign and transfer all power to the Soviets.
The Mensheviks and the moderates are sabotaging the Congress, even trying to block it. But we Bolsheviks will not be caught off guard, no, sir.
Oh, what do we have to do to see Lenin?
I don't know. He's not home.
Where is he?
If we could interview, get a statement from him, it would be useful for you too. Lenin's opinions would be known outside of Russia, without the press twisting them out of shape.
You're American, Reed, aren't you? Whose side is your government on?
Oh, I know whose side. But I write for a socialist paper. I'm a Bolshevik, even if my conversion is rather recent. What I mean is you
No,
can
I'm afraid that's impossible. Absolutely impossible. It's simply out of the question.
Vladimir, you can take any precautions you want. We'll even go blindfolded to meet Lenin.
Madame, how can you be so naive? Oh, I didn't mean to offend you, but believe me, I don't know where Lenin is hiding. Nobody does. Perhaps 2 or 3, but they're not going around telling anyone.
The Revolutionary Committee has given the order to make preparations for immediate military deployment.
You seem to be quite worried, Yakov Mikhailovich. Perhaps you're not satisfied with the way we're moving along with the insurrection.
That's the problem. I can't understand Trotsky. At the last meeting of the Soviets in Petrograd, he told the delegates there that the party might be reconsidering its plans for starting the insurrection. This sort of hesitation and weakness is utterly inopportune and runs contrary to everything we've been saying.
The Bolshevik Party has gained a majority in the Soviets of nearly all the important Russian cities.
What do you think Kerensky will do in light of his last speech? And what do you suppose will be the provisional government's next move to come to grips with the Bolshevik Party's threat of armed insurrection?
The government is powerless. The only way Kerensky can hold on to his position is by starting a civil war. A lost cause with all the soldiers on our side.
Civil war. Monsieur Trotsky, what if the Soviets actually do gain power? Would there be repercussions in Russia alone or throughout the other states of Europe?
Once we create a government of the Soviets, nothing will stop us. Russia will become an active force in the cause of world revolution. The first step being the creation of a united, federal, European republic. We'll achieve this goal not by government diplomacy, but through the activities of the international proletariat. Naturally, all in a matter of time.
Reached the point of no return. To wait now would be fatal. I must use all my powers of persuasion to convince my comrades of the Central Committee that all is hanging by a thread. That certain problems can never be solved by debates or assemblies, but only by the people, the masses. The active struggle of an armed proletariat. To wait would be an error. To wait would be a crime. History has no place for hesitant revolutionaries who incur defeat by postponing victory. Today, we might win. Tomorrow, we can only lose. Waiting now would mean certain death, to us and to the cause.
Vladimir Ilyich, they've reinforced the patrols and raised all the bridges. They've even blocked off Otinsky Avenue. There are guards everywhere you look. No, I'm not going to risk it. I won't take you tonight.
I have many friends out there. I wouldn't be so worried. Cheer up, comrade. Times have been much worse. I went where I wasn't supposed to go. Ilyich.
Lenin's hiding place remained a secret to everyone. No journalist managed to obtain what would have been the most sensational interview of the century.
Could you kindly tell me what the next stop is?
The revolution, comrades. End of the line. Step out, gentlemen. I'm spinning her around. She and I have worked enough today.
see your papers.
I have a better idea. Why you come with me and have a drink? You're tired, your horse is tired, and I'm sick and tired.
Go home, you drunk, before I arrest you.
Do they know what they want?
I'm afraid they have very clear ideas. They've often said that if they manage to win their revolution, that they'll confiscate all property from the owners, houses, factories, farms, everything, and transfer it to the people. There'll be no more private ownership.
Do you really think, Ivan Vasilievich, that such a mob will know how to govern a state or even run factories? They have no experience, no technical background. They're ignorant.
Yes, sir.
I thought I'd visit you.
Comrade Vladimir Ilyich, what a surprise. Welcome back.
Thank you. How are you,
You look
comrade?
well,
Thanks.
comrade.
We weren't expecting you so soon.
Сегодня темная луна, как пленная царевна, грустно задумчиво бледна и безнадежно влюблена. Сегодня музыка больна, едва звучит напевно. Она капризна и нежна, и холодна, и гневна. Сегодня наш последний день в приморском ресторане упала на трассу тень. Зажглись огни в тумане, отлив лениво тек по дну. Узоры пен.
Immediate peace, without annexation of territory, or war indemnity. Confiscation of public property and the taking over of power by workers and peasants.
You know, I have the strangest feeling lately that you're becoming a Bolshevik. Are you becoming a Bolshevik?
Why not? I can jump over the fence easily. Getting old, my boy. Here, it's easy to become enthusiastic about things. To convince oneself that he's a real revolutionary only because he's written a book about the revolt by Mexican peasants and a few articles against war. But back home, would I know how to be? Could I be a Bolshevik in America? Isn't there the danger that I'd appear a political dilettante? That night, I had left the Smolny at about 3 a.m., unaware that Lenin had been there for several hours already, directing every phase of the insurrection with his comrades of the Military Revolutionary Committee.
What do you mean he can't? Alexander Fyodorovich Kerensky can and must speak to the Peter and Paul Fortress commander.
Comrade Commissar! Comrade Commissar! They're calling from the Winter Palace. It's Kerensky. He wants the commander.
Tell him we've arrested the fortress commander. Run!
Yes, sir.
Send a message to headquarters that we're ready at the arsenal and we're waiting for instructions.
Excuse me, Citizen Captain. I use the word citizen because I'm sure you don't want to be called comrade. And I can't call you sir, I'm afraid, because, well, for reasons too long to explain. As an official member of the Revolutionary Committee, I command you, Captain Erickson, to take the Aurora up the Never River.
To the Winter Palace, eh? I must inform you, citizen sailor, that the Never River is shallow and does not allow passage to ships of our draft. We're liable to run aground.
Comrade Zakharov, you took the depth soundings along the Never, didn't you?
Yes, up to the city.
The results?
The river's navigable all the way.
I don't take orders from you, citizen sailor.
Place him under arrest and prepare to weigh anchor.
Very well. But I do it under duress. I'll bring the Aurora upriver.
Did you inform the base at Helsingfors?
Yes, with a coded telegram. They're rushing in, landing troops and mine raids.
Trouble is the Winter Palace Bridge. It's swarming with cadets. Now, will our mine layers approach and pass through? We've no choice. We'll have to attack the Junkers and drive them out. We're moving along.
Today, the 7th of November, the train stations, ministries, telephone exchanges, and post offices are all controlled by the insurgents. Kerensky and his ministers have barricaded themselves inside the Winter Palace, behind a line of defense set up by the Junkers, the young and fanatical cadets of the aristocratic military academies, and by several detachments of the notorious Women's Shock Battalion. Lenin has already issued a proclamation to the Russian people.
Citizens of Russia, the provisional government has been overthrown. All powers of state shall be assumed by the Military Revolutionary Committee of the Petrograd Soviet, forefront of the proletariat, and supreme command of the city garrison.
At this point, the provisional government can only govern the Winter Palace.
But not for long, comrade. We'll storm it.
I've just been informed that reinforcements are rushing in. Fresh troops of unquestionable loyalty.
Where are your castles? Why haven't they come yet? They're still in their barracks. Still in their barracks? Yes, sir. They refused to come out. You told me that they were loyal. I'm afraid my information was incorrect. Who's their commanding officer? Franco. I want you to get a message to him post haste. I'm afraid that's impossible, sir. The troops arrested him and his officers.
I'm leaving to join the reinforcements marching toward Petrograd from the front. I'll take personal command over the troops. The Bolshevik rabble will scatter like sheep when they see my patriotic divisions pouring in. I'm sure that our combat troops will live up to our expectations. They're faithful, and they're willing to sacrifice everything for the fatherland. These dispatches prove it.
Alexander Fyodorovich, those reports are just fabrications. And besides, how will you manage to leave? The whole city of Petrograd is swarming with Bolshevik troops.
Mr. Kishkin, By virtue of the authority invested in me as Chief of State, I appoint you, for the duration of my absence, Supreme Commander of Petrograd. You will use your new unlimited powers to reestablish order. By military or political means, you will defend the capital against all subversive activity. I'm counting on you. Is my car ready?
Yes, sir, but for safety's sake, we could travel with an American embassy car that's also headed for the front.
Alexander Ivanovich, in my absence, you will take over my functions as Prime Minister and President of the Russian state.
Oh, goodness rest me at the service. Not such a lot of
John! Louise! Wake up! Are you out of your mind sleeping at a time like this?
Who is it?
It's me, Albert. Hurry up! Get a move on. I've got something important to tell you. Slip into some clothes and meet me outside. But hurry!
All right.
Move.
Excuse me. Were you soldiers sent here by the government?
There is no government. We gave them all a kick in the ass like this.
Kerensky government locked up in the Winter Palace. Kerensky government locked up in the Winter Palace. Peter and Paul portrait. Latest news from the Revolutionary Party.
That day, your apparent calm belied a deep sense of anxiety. You were gripped by a relentless urge to see, to find out, to participate. You dragged me from one end of the city to the next. Not wanting to miss a thing, you tried to be everywhere at once. You had to be an eyewitness to every event of those hectic hours.
We've been covering the city. It's incredible what's happening.
What's been going on here?
Lenin addressed the Soviets.
When?
A few minutes ago.
You should have come sooner.
We'll ride up an ultimatum for the ministers and have a motorcyclist deliver it. If necessary, we'll open fire using the cannon from the arsenal. I don't expect any surprises, on 100%.
We're ready, comrade.
I'll be back soon.
Good luck.
I'm an American journalist.
We have a very important appointment.
All right, go.
Thank you.
I'm a journalist too, okay?
You can't come in, I'm afraid. This wing is now a ward for the gentlemen officers and soldiers.
Upon the signal from the Peter Paul Fortress, I want the Aurora to fire 2 blank shots.
Yes, sir. He's not in, sir.
Well, where is he?
Prime Minister Kerensky went to join the troops called back from the front.
He ran out of gasoline, and so we had to borrow some from the English Red Cross. Pardon me. Hello?
Well, where are the other ministers?
I think they're holding a session in some other part of the palace. I don't know where exactly. You were saying? Yes? Yes? Yes, I see. I'll be right there. Excuse me.
Captain Archibachev, at your command.
Hello.
Oh, so you're foreigners. Americans?
Yes.
Good. Wonderful. Just look around you and see how sad old Russia has become. Yes, sir, here you are. These mongrels call themselves. Do they look like gentlemen of the noble Russian tradition? Many of them are contaminated by the revolutionary spirit. Oh, I wish I could leave this awful country. Wait a minute, perhaps you gentlemen might be able to help me out. Yes, of course. Through one of the consulate.
No, look, we're just journalists. We can't.
Wait. Here's my card. Here. It's got my address on it. Take it.
I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do.
What's a nice lady like you doing in the army? You should be home making children.
You old pig, you wouldn't even know how to start making children. I bet you forgot. Come here, I'll show you.
You think I'm like that Cossack?
No, you're more educated. You read books.
You know what I say, my friends? I don't feel healthy cooped up in here. Let's go while the going is
He's
good.
right. Let's go. To hell with the government soldiers. Who needs
That evening we had tickets for the Mariinsky Theater, but naturally we went instead to the Smolny, where everyone was waiting for the opening of the Second All-Russian Congress of Soviets.
Hey, Louise, John!
Bessie. Hello there.
There are 2 free seats over here.
Lenin's not here. Nor any important Bolshevik.
The Winter Palace hasn't been taken yet. What's happening to our military? This barrier must be overcome at any cost.
Comrade Commissar, we found a passageway. We can rush in and surprise them with a grenade.
All right.
Silence!
They rejected our ultimatum.
Calm down, gentlemen. We'll all retire to the Malachite Hall. I'm sure we'll be much safer there.
Kill us all.
Where did the palace go?
Let me have your attention. While we, the elected representatives of the nation, are peacefully holding our assembly here in this hall, the city of Petrograd is becoming a battlefield. I say it is our duty as good, patriotic Russians to defend the fatherland and our new democracy against this mad insurrection organized by the Bolsheviks. By remaining idle, we become accomplices to an horrendous crime!
Hurry up with those leaflets. Come on. Move it. Move it.
Hey, comrades, where are you going?
Everywhere. Through the whole city.
Why don't you come along?
Come on. Hop on.
Calm down, I haven't got it fully yet.
Young man, he's the mayor of
Don't
Petrograd.
push, gentlemen, it's useless. Give it up. Let us through! Let us through!
You've no right to make us stand out in the freezing cold just because you have a weapon in your hand.
I'm the president of the Petrograd Duma, and I order you to put an end to this indignity. You're interfering with the government.
I have strict orders. The Military Revolutionary Committee told me not to let anyone near the Winter Palace.
Outrageous criminals!
Settle down.
Pick up your rifle and shoot! I'm not afraid of death!
Now I'm going through, sailor, and you won't dare try to stop me. And you know why? Because I'm the mayor of Petrograd, damn it! Forward!
What we go through anyway?
Yes, what did we go through anyway? Let's hear what you do then, sailor. Come on! Come on!
I'll tell you
What
what'll
do you
happen.
do?
I'll personally give you a boot and a rump. That's right. And if that doesn't bring you to your senses, then we shoot.
Gentlemen, let's return to the Duma! We'll hold an emergency session to pass a law against these criminals! We must save our country! We must save our Russia! Oh, God help us! Let's go!
Yeah, good. Go on. Go save Russia.
sure we're doing the right thing. This isn't our country.
I'm with them. Unfortunately, the situation is not.
Ministers of State, in the name of the Revolutionary Committee, I declare you under arrest. Hand over all weapons. Now I want you to answer a few questions. Name?
What do we have to do? What will happen to the wounded now?
Don't worry, sister. We won't touch them.
Quick, around the corner! Get up there, get up!
No, comrades, don't take anything. It all belongs to the Russian people. Let me have a souvenir.
This way, move it!
Down over there! Quanti ritornieri!
Watch the stairs! Quick, around the corner! Get the ball! Watch the guard!
Comrades, give me your attention. Form ranks and march out of the palace. Go on the cover. You go and stand guard. Yes, sir.
Kill them all!
Calm down, comrades. Let them be judged by the law.
No, kill them now!
Kick them out. They'll all stand trial before a court of law.
Hang on! Get over, bastard! Kill them all! Bring them up!
This was the seat of the provisional government.
this Congress of the Soviets, held today by the will of the vast majority of workers, soldiers, and peasants, and by virtue of the victorious insurrection brought about by the heroic people of Petrograd. Today, this Congress of the Soviets takes all power into its hands. Starting from today, we must all collaborate in the struggle to build up a government of and for the masses. But now our biggest problem is how to put an immediate end to this mad, utterly senseless war. The proletariat of the world, the toiling masses, must no longer sacrifice their lives for those who only exploit them. The Soviet government calls upon the belligerent states to begin immediate talks to achieve the one goal that is shared by the masses of every nation. The one goal that every right-thinking man must aspire to, and that is peace.
You drink a glass of water in Baku on the Caspian Sea and you get typhus. Do you plan on leaving soon?
No, I'm going to stay here until you get better, John. And then we'll go back to America together. And then I'll never leave you again. John Reed, the best man on the two faces of this earth, and I was chosen to be his companion.